So that is his origin. No wonder he does everything he can to remind people what he is. Because in truth, he is even lower than the lowest of the low. Orochi was nothing more than a servant back then. It wouldn't surprise me if all of his suck-up servanting things was all in an attempt to gain power even then. Or was he as corrupted by Kaido's influence? Regardless, Orochi here fully shows that he has always been nothing more than a fool. Then Grand Myth and the Despair Reviewer. First off, One Piece chapter 961, and also there will be a break of that next week. I didn't realize 3 chapters had already passed. They felt so slow nowadays, so it makes sense. In the beige cover story, it seems that many men are running away from someone who is kissing them violently. Yeah, it appears actually Lola really is there. Now, back to the chapter of the flashback about Odin. As Kinemon says that he cannot give this white gold, it actually turns out that Denjiro already knows who Odin is. I mean, that makes sense. Odin was infamous. However, even then, Denjiro admired Odin, but mostly because he was the only... he didn't really like adults. He thought them to be the fools. And and Odin was called a fool, but Denjiro did not despise him for that. Either way, the mountain god gets appeared as even some... as a priest begins to gray. And yes, indeed, this mountain god is larger than the capitals. It is truly a monstrous. Wonder what really happened to them in the present day, Wano. If I know Kaido right, maybe he hunted all of them down and decided to eat them for their meat. Would make sense. As then that... and then Kinemon also hears that from a guy who is apparently one of the Bingo Bongo Bongo people. Really did look different. One of these boars actually got close to Usuru's house. And here we proclaims that she was eaten, but we know that wasn't true. So Kinemon finally lets go of the boar as he begins to run towards the boar, saying that the monster will come because of me. And we also see that truly Kinemon and Suru really were childhood friends. I mean, we don't see them as children, but we really did that. Suru was the only one who truly cared about Kinemon. She paid off his debts, and even when Kinemon just says that nobody will care if I die, Suru was the only one who said that who only said that who didn't believe it, that, which makes their story even that more tragic. Kinemon was even fast enough to wound the pig nose, but not enough to really attack it. So, but it's during this whole time that suddenly Odin appears, having the baby, and forces the pig to attack him. And what does he do like the badass he is? Well, he cuts it. No, not the beast. He cuts apart its fangs, and somehow actually makes the boar retreat from just that, maybe. That was Odin, and he did he fought in a way which was very similar to Zoro, except of course that he didn't have his son Toryu. But Kinemon and Denjiro saw that, and from that day on, Kinemon admired Odin. And apparently, despite the boar rampaging all over, it didn't actually eat anyone who was on that place there. So, and then Odin took the blame for everything with, well, he was despised anyway. And he even, as we all saw in the flashback, he took his disarmament to be perfectly fine, because, but he took the time to mock his father by saying that he cannot handle me anymore, because that is what I wanted. So he headed out. By age 18, Odin caused the Mountain God incident, which we all know wasn't that way. But it was that time that Kinemon really felt that this was a man he had grown to admire. It was even before he defeated Ashura Doji and changed Kuri. This was the time when Kinemon did that. So he began to travel with, Denjiro and Kinemon, maybe, and eventually ended up in the Hakumai region, where he, of course, met Shimotsuki Yasue, who he called uncle, but he may have just been an old man in that situation, who wasn't happy to see Oden, but that makes sense. But the chapter ends though with someone jumping over a puddle saying that you can cross me, and Oden calls the guy creepy. Yasue reveals that he is simply his newest servant, as the newest servant reveals that he was taken in by Lord Yasue. And who was this servant? None other than Orochi. The plot thickens. Was Orochi power hungry even then? Was he fully intending to take the power from Yasue and the shogun at that time? Or did Kaido's influence corrupt him so much that the coward and the pitiful bag of trash became a truly irredeemable monster? I mean, he has a little bit more goofy smile here, but it's clear it's a smile that is not meant to be friendly. It's more of the fact that he just shows how lowly he is. He calls himself here a humble servant. Everything that is going on here, I think I have found out how one can truly break Orochi. The servants of Oden just have to remind Orochi that he was nothing more than a lowly servant. He wasn't a servant. He was the lowest of a servant. He was scum. By reminding him what he truly was, and he took all of that away from people without even deserving it. That will very likely finally put Orochi on the place where he had no other choice but to retaliate. Granted, he retaliates every single time, but this also makes all of his anger issues understandable too. As a servant, he probably took a lot of abuse, but was also a very big suck-up. So here he really want to say that no one mocks me ever again, because that is to remind who he really was. Truly, Orochi is disgusting. Give me your thoughts if you have any.